Are these a scam or are they actually worth buying? I'm sure you've seen these TikTok retro video game consoles all across different channels. There's loads of different people selling them, loads of different models, but they all do essentially the same thing. They're packed with thousands of retro games, from PlayStation games to Game Boy games, N64 games, lots of different things. I've played these little ones before, but now the good folks over in China have sent me one of these bigger versions. This is like one of the premium ones. It's the RG505, the Ambernic RG505. And the difference between this one and these ones are that obviously it's bigger, it's touchscreen, and it can play PS2 and Wii games. So this is a quick, honest review. The footage you're going to see is the first time I've ever played anything on it. I'm not going to speed anything up so you can see the frame rate. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So like I said, this is the Ambernic RG505. It's one of the bigger models of these retro video game consoles that you can get off the TikTok shop. You can see some of the other models there at the back, and they're significantly smaller, more Game Boy size, whereas this is like the size of a Switch. They also sent me that controller at the back there, so I'll be playing that today as well and reviewing it. So that's the 256 megabyte card that comes with it. It's got a few thousand games. It's got NES games, SNES games, N64 games. They all play great, by the way. I just want to prefix by saying that. All those games that you'd expect it to handle that don't have like a big impact or a big kind of strain on the CPU. I don't know what I'm talking about, CPU. But you know what I'm saying? Those ones don't lag. They play great. But when it comes to the PS2 and the Wii, oh boy. So I loaded up Def Jam, Fight for NY, and the initial cutscene, like the intro cutscene, was just pictures. I just couldn't deal with it. But when I loaded up the actual game, I was pleasantly surprised that the frame rate sorted itself out, and it played as you'd expect. It played quite well. I've turned the volume off because you can just hear me like huffing and grunting. So, but the volume was fine as well. Like the sounds were fine. But it played okay. Then I went on to Scarface on the PS2, and yeah, the frame rate was quite slow. You can see there with the bullets coming out. It wasn't handling it very well. Then I went on to GTA San Andreas. Again, quite slow frame rate wise. And these are kind of the games you're buying it for. These are the PS2 games. What's the point of buying this if the PS2 games don't work in it? Like I say, there's only like 22 on it, but you can load your own on it if you know what you're doing. You can put it on the memory card. It's essentially just an Android system. So if you know what you're doing, you can put your own games on it. But it was struggling to handle some of these. So then I thought, okay, I'll try the Wii. So I loaded up Zelda. These are all the Wii games here. There's some in Chinese, which isn't very helpful. But there's 60 odd. I loaded up Zelda Legend of the Windbreaker, and I just couldn't skip the intro cutscene. I was trying everything. I even toggled the, the Wii on-screen controls, and I just couldn't skip it, man. So I hit reset, and then it did this weird thing where both my A button and my B button were back. So it was sending me back, so I couldn't click on anything on the Wii menu. Everything else was working, all the other menus, but the Wii menu, the buttons were, the A and B was just broken. So I reset it. I loaded up Luigi's Mansion, and Luigi's Mansion actually played quite well. Frame rate wise, sound wise, everything, gameplay, perfect. But then after this, I came out of Luigi's Mansion. I wanted to show you more gameplay, but it's already getting quite a long video anyway. I came out and I had the same issue with the buttons. And it was just getting really frustrating at this point, and I had to keep resetting it to like stop that from happening. So I thought, to quell my frustrations, I tried this because I wanted a different game experience, and according to this box, give you a different game experience was what I was going to get with this controller that they sent me. So I thought I'd give that a go. It worked on the menu screens fine to choose the games, and then I quickly found it felt quite good as well. It's like Switch buttons for the Nintendo Switch, but it should be compatible with this. It turned out it wasn't compatible with the PS2 games. I don't know why. Maybe it's just not compatible with those and it works with others. But it was quite frustrating because I wanted it to use on the PS2 games, and yeah, I tried all of them and it just wouldn't work. So that wasn't a great experience either. And then I came back out and I was having the same button issue, so it just wasn't a great experience. Honestly, for £200, just go and buy a PS2, go and buy a Wii and buy these games like for the price, or buy the smaller one because it's better. Let me know what you think. The links are in the video because I have to put them in. Let me know what you think. You can find out more info there.